Hey guys, it's Jenny with Becoming Homesteaders. Today I am canning up some beautiful cranberry juice. Now this cranberry juice is a little different because I am using apple scraps. So come along with me, see this new altered recipe that I have for some Cran-Apple Juice. Hey guys, it's Jenny with Becoming Homesteaders. Welcome back to my kitchen. Today is day 3 of apple processing. We went apple picking at Legend Hills Apple Orchard, and that is a separate video, Camping with a Purpose. The orchard was beautiful. Came home. So far we have made apple butter and apple cider, and today I will be making cranberry apple juice. So yesterday we did our apple cider processing, which was a lot of fun. We have a video on that I can link below. We used a great little apple press and a great grinder that we ground the apples up first. So that was a lot of fun. We ended up with 6 half-gallon jars, so that was great. We had 73 pounds for the cider. And now today I was trying to think of a way to use the pressed apple scraps that was left over. And I know you can do the apple scrap jelly, but I'm not a fan of that. So I thought we would try the using them for apple juice. So I wasn't sure if it was going to work. I started it last night, and all I did was I put the apple scraps in a pot and filled it up with water. So I would say about half apple scraps, half water, and these are big stock pots. So I had a lot. We had 2 full 5-gallon buckets left of apple scraps. So we had a lot of scraps. I don't know that I'll use all of them. We'll see today how it goes. But I half and half in the stock pots, brought them up to a boil and cooked them. So I did 2 pots last night. The first pot, I think I overcooked because, you know, once you cook it down so much, it kind of turns into applesauce, and I didn't want that. The second pot, I brought it up to a boil, so it was nice and hot. I let it boil for just a few minutes, turned the heat off, and then I put it outside in my garage. So last night it got down to in the 40s, so it was cool. So I let it sit overnight with the apple scraps, with the water, brought it in this morning, and I have strained 1 batch of it, and I think it's really gonna work. The apple juice from the leftover scrap, it's not as strong, obviously, as the apple cider, but I think it will pair nicely with my cranberries. So I'm super excited, and I hope this works. Total experiment. So I thought I would bring you along for the experiment, see if it really works. The recipe I'm using, I did get from someone else, and I will link all of that down below as far as cranberries. I couldn't find anything on using the apple scraps like this. So I think this is relatively new. If you guys have done this before and have used the apple scraps for the juice, leave me a comment, let me know. If you have a recipe for it, that'd be great too. But I couldn't find anything, so I'm totally making this up. I am gonna go by the recommended processing time for the cranberry juice, because it's really just like an apple water that I'm adding to the cranberry juice, but it has a great flavor. So come along with me and let's see if this actually works. Okay, I thought I would bring you along and show you the straining process. So this is the pot of apples that I cooked last night. This is the mushy pot, so we're gonna still use it, but moving forward, next time if I ever do this, I won't cook it as long for sure. So I just have a big pot in here, and I'm just straining it through just a mesh strainer because we're going to give it another strain. But it's doing better than I thought it would as far as straining wise. I was afraid that it would be too mushy to strain at all, but it's actually doing okay. So And I'm getting down to the bottom of the pot, so let's see. And I have apples everywhere, all over my kitchen. My floor is sticky. I don't know if you see my grape video, I said the same thing about grapes. I had grapes everywhere in my kitchen. We processed grape juice, grape jam, grape jelly, and there were grapes everywhere. And it's the same for the apples. Apples are everywhere. But it's a good thing. Very blessed to have all of these different apple products, and I really hope this works because I love cranberry juice. We love apple juice. I think it's going to be a really good combination. So we will see. I even thought about doing a cranberry grape juice with some of the grape concentrate that I've already canned. So I did can a couple jars that was unsweetened, so we could actually do an experiment with that maybe. So we'll see, but this looks pretty good. So if you did see my grape video, I was mashing the grapes down. I'm not doing that with this because the apples are very mushy, so I'm just letting it strain on its own. If there's juice left in there, I'm just calling it good. And we're going to keep all of these apple scraps because they are going to be used once again. Okay, I just wanted to show you what was left. So I did strain the big chunks of apples already, and this is what is left after then I strain it a second time through my tea towel. And these are tea towels that I actually used for my grape juice making, which you can check that out on our channel too. But I'm so glad I used the tea towels. I wasn't going to strain it again, but it obviously needs to be strained a couple times actually. So, and it looks beautiful too. I don't know if you can see the color, but it looks like apple juice. So I think it's gonna work. I wasn't sure I was going to strain this again, but I'm so very glad that I did. I'm using these tea towels, which works out perfect because it does catch a lot of that very fine sediment that your strainers will not catch. I'm sure like a nut bag would work well. I've just always used these tea towels. They work out great, but if I wouldn't have done that, there would have been a lot of sediment in the bottom of these jars. So very pleased with the end result. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it looks like a great color. It's straining nicely. See what's left. It almost looks like applesauce. I'm going to call that good. Yay! So I'm just going to give these, I've been rinsing the tea towels out with each straining just to give them a good wash so that it will strain better than the next time. Just some warm water. Strainer back on there, and then I just lay this over the entire pot and push it down so that we can start the next batch. Okay, this is our third and final strain. Not really getting a lot of sediment, but I am at the top of the pot, so maybe it's all settled at the bottom, so we'll see when we get to the bottom. But I did add another layer of tea towels, so there's 2 tea towels here, And then the fine mesh strainer underneath of that, just kind of resting on the lip of the cooker. So we'll see how it goes. So far, so good. My kitchen's a mess, like I said earlier. There's apples everywhere, and jars, and pots, and... But I'm really excited about this. This is a great way to use up those apple scraps that would otherwise just get fed to the chickens if you have chickens, or added to your compost pile. So I'm real excited about getting this last product out of these beautiful apples that we collected. Okay, we're down to the last little bit, and there's a lot of sediment in here, so I am not going to strain that. I'm just going to pour that out. That's been sitting and the sediment kind of collected at the bottom, so I'm just going to dump that part, and we have an entire stock pot full already. So, and I have another bucket outside, so I feel like we're going to have a lot of juice. Okay guys, so we're all done straining. It's in the big stock pot. We're going to warm this up. We're going to get our cranberries ready, and we're going to make some apple cranberry juice. I'm so excited. I did a little taste testing, and it tastes really good. So I think this is really going to work. So I'm so excited to show you the end product. So here, let's take a look in the pot so you can see. Looks really good too. It has a great color, so it's strained well. So we'll keep going. Okay, here we are, the third and final resting place for the apples. This is the compost bin, so we're going to be adding these lovely apple scraps to their final resting place. On to the cranberries. We're going to give these cranberries a really good wash. I did find these on sale. So these are 12-ounce packages. And I don't even know how many I have. I have a lot. But we're going to give them a really good wash, pick out any bad ones that we see. And I rinse them a couple times just to make sure, because they are in like an open netting packaging. So just want to make sure they're nice and clean and free of any bad berries. Okay, so we are back at the stove. I have my jars in my canner heating up, 7 quarts, and then the apple juice is heating up. We're going to then take the jars out of the canner and start filling them with the cranberries and the apple juice. Okay, jars are nice and hot, and I'm going to be filling the jars with 1 and 3/4 cups of cranberries, and then 1/4 cup of sugar. Now the recipe originally called for 1/3 cup of sugar. I did cut that down simply because I'm not using boiling water. I'm using my apple scrap juice, and it is sweet, so I feel like 1/4 cup of sugar should do it. I will let you know. These do need to sit on your pantry shelf for about 4 to 6 weeks before you open it. So we'll be doing a taste test in a few weeks, so I'll let you know on that. But gosh, the jars look just beautiful with those cranberries floating at the top. And I have a really good feeling. So not that there would be a lot of bubbles in there, but just in case we have bubbles. Then I have my little dish of distilled vinegar. Put a lid and a ring on to fingertip tight. And whew, that's getting kind of full, so I'm going to use this. Gosh, They do look really pretty though. So 1 3/4 cups, give or take. 1/4 cup of sugar. And then my apple scrap juice. What a great way to use those apples up. And I don't know if you can see the color, but it really looks like apple juice. It is not as strong, so I don't know that I would just can this up on its own. Maybe if I added sugar, I don't know. But for now, this is what we're gonna do with it. And who knows, maybe I'll come up with another creation, apples and something else, and use the rest of it. I don't know yet, but I think this is what we're gonna stick with for now. Apple cranberry juice. Sounds pretty tasty to me. My floor is sticky. Everything is appley and sticky. All right, and here's the finished product. It looks so pretty. I know that it will darken up over time, but I just love the layered look. The apple juice at the bottom, the cranberry juice in the middle, and the cranberries floating at the top. It just looks beautiful. We ended up with 6 of the half-gallon jars and 12 quarts. So I'm very happy with what we have. The only thing that I think I would do different next time is, instead of just adding the sugar, I think I will add the sugar and then give it a good stir, because all of the sugar settled to the bottom. Now, eventually, over time, because it's been a little bit since I filmed the video, it did end up dissolving, but I would go down and shake it every now and then to make the sugar dissolve. But I really feel like you need to give it a good stir before you put the lid and the ring on and can it. Otherwise, it's just going to sit at the bottom and not dissolve. I really thought the heating process of the water bath canning would be enough for it to dissolve it, but it was not. So I do recommend giving it a good stir. But we have opened this. It is so very tasty. I'm so happy with the product that we ended up with. And then I also am reusing the cranberry. So when you strain the juice, we just use that fine mesh strainer. I strain the cranberries out and I put this in a jug for us to use to drink in the refrigerator. The cranberries, then, you can eat them. They are not super tart like you would think. They do have a sweetness, and I'm guessing that's from the sugar in the apple juice. But I made a really yummy cranberry pecan breakfast bread with these cranberries, and it was perfect. So I recommend reusing them. Throw them in some pancake batter, put them in a muffin or bread mix, add them to some granola, whatever, but don't throw those cranberries away. They are very tasty. So if you liked my video, please remember to give me a thumbs up. It does help. Consider subscribing to my channel. And there are more Apple videos to come, so please stay tuned for that. And thanks so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. And I have been having so much fun canning all of this beautiful apple preserves and just making more food for us on our shelf.